New Zealand, often called one of the most beautiful countries in the world, has always been a dream destination for many. The breathtaking landscapes, clean air, friendly people, and high quality of life made it a place where anyone could feel at peace. Yet, in recent years, a surprising and unexpected trend has been emerging. More and more people are leaving New Zealand than ever before. This is not just a small number of people, it's thousands, even tens of thousands, every year. So, why is this happening? What could make people leave a place they once considered paradise? At first glance, New Zealand appears to be the perfect place to live. From the stunning beaches of the North Island to the snow-capped mountains of the South Island, the country's natural beauty is unmatched. It's a place where one can hike through forests, swim in crystal-clear waters, and breathe some of the freshest air on Earth. The government offers healthcare, education, and a high standard of living. It's the kind of place where people go to escape the stresses of the modern world. And yet, despite all this, New Zealand is seeing an increasing number of its residents leave. In fact, over the past few years, the number of Kiwis leaving New Zealand has been on the rise. According to government data, more than 60,000 New Zealand citizens left the country in just 1 year. That number is far higher than it used to be. It's not just people from other countries moving to New Zealand for a better life. New Zealanders themselves are choosing to leave. So, what is going wrong? Why are so many people abandoning their homes for places that may not have the same beautiful scenery or peaceful lifestyle? One of the biggest reasons for this exodus is the cost of living. Over the past decade, New Zealand has seen its housing market become increasingly unaffordable. In cities like Auckland and Wellington, house prices have skyrocketed, making it nearly impossible for many young people to afford their first home. The dream of owning a house, once a symbol of stability and success, is slowly slipping away. For many Kiwis, as house prices soar, rent prices follow suit. Many people are finding it harder to find affordable places to live, and even those who can afford rent are struggling with the high cost of day-to-day living. The rising prices of food, gas, and healthcare are pushing many to reconsider their future in New Zealand. It's not that the country doesn't offer opportunities. It's just that the cost of living has made it much harder for average New Zealanders to live comfortably. However, the cost of living is only one part of the story. Another important factor is the lack of career opportunities in New Zealand. Although the country has a lot to offer, it can be difficult for skilled professionals to find work that matches their abilities or provides enough financial stability. Doctors, engineers, teachers, and other professionals are increasingly seeking better job opportunities abroad, where salaries are higher and career growth is more promising. For example, many New Zealand doctors are leaving for Australia, where they can earn higher salaries and have better career advancement opportunities. Similarly, teachers are leaving for the UK, seeking better pay and improved work-life balance. These professionals aren't leaving because they dislike their country or their home. It's simply that the job market in New Zealand doesn't offer the same rewards as other countries. But it's not just about money. There's also the issue of lifestyle. Despite the beauty of New Zealand, many people find the small, isolated nature of the country to be limiting. With a population of just over 5 million people, New Zealand is quite small in comparison to other countries. This isolation can lead to a feeling of being cut off from the rest of the world. For many Kiwis, traveling long distances to reach other countries or to visit family members can be a burden. The long flights and the time zone differences make it difficult to stay connected with loved ones overseas. This sense of isolation, combined with the challenges of daily life, is pushing many people to reconsider their future in New Zealand. And then there's the issue of climate change. While New Zealand is known for its stunning natural beauty, it is also a country that faces certain environmental challenges. Rising sea levels, more frequent extreme weather events, and other climate-related issues are causing concern for many. Kiwis, some are worried about the long-term impact of these changes and are choosing to leave in search of a safer and more stable environment. The combination of high living costs, limited career growth, the feeling of isolation, and concerns about the future is causing a shift in the way people think about New Zealand. The country that once seemed like the perfect place to build a life now feels like it may not be as perfect as it once appeared. In conclusion, the increasing number of people leaving New Zealand is not just a passing trend, it's a sign of deeper issues within the country. While New Zealand still offers a high quality of life, the economic pressures, job limitations, and social isolation are pushing many to seek better opportunities abroad. The beauty of the country is still there, but for many, it's no longer enough to make them stay. And as more and more Kiwis leave, the question remains, what will New Zealand do to stop this trend and keep its citizens from leaving? As New Zealand continues to lose its residents, many are pointing to a growing and undeniable issue: the country's economic struggles. While the stunning views of rolling hills, picturesque beaches, and snow-capped mountains still make New Zealand an attractive place to live, it's becoming increasingly difficult for people to maintain a comfortable lifestyle. The real surprise, it's not the lack of opportunities or resources, it's the sharp rise in everyday costs that's turning life in New Zealand from a dream into a financial nightmare for many. Let's start with something that affects everyone: the cost of living. It's a subject that has been on the minds of many Kiwis for years, and now it's reaching a boiling point. In cities like Auckland, Wellington, and Christchurch, the cost of housing has escalated beyond what most people can afford. Once known for its affordable living, New Zealand now faces some of the highest housing prices in the world. What once seemed like a place where anyone could own their own home is now becoming a distant dream for many citizens. Take Auckland, for example. It has been ranked as one of the most expensive cities to live in, with property prices reaching levels that most people simply cannot keep up with. In fact, over the last decade, house prices have more than doubled. The average New Zealand home now costs more than $800,000, and in Auckland, it's even higher. For a young couple starting their family or a first-time buyer, this is an impossible dream to achieve. What happens when you can't afford a home in your own country? Well, many Kiwis are starting to find the answer. They leave. The issue doesn't stop with housing. Rent prices are also sky high, and it's affecting everyone from students to families. The average rent for a modest apartment can cost upwards of $500 a week, sometimes even more. For those living paycheck to paycheck, this can consume the majority of their income. Many young people, even those with good jobs, find themselves stuck in a cycle of high rent and little savings. What's the point of staying in a country that has such high costs when there are places where housing and living expenses are much more affordable? This leads us to the bigger question: why are these prices so high? New Zealand is a small, relatively isolated country with a limited housing supply, which makes it vulnerable to market fluctuations. Additionally, foreign investors buying up properties and the high demand from both locals and immigrants have further driven up the cost. While the government has taken steps to address the issue, the housing crisis is still far from being solved, and many are growing frustrated. For some, the rising cost of living is the breaking point. They look elsewhere, to countries where they can live more comfortably, away from the crushing weight of high expenses. But it's not just housing that's become unaffordable. Everyday goods like food, petrol, and utilities are all on the rise. New Zealand, with its relatively small population, has to import a lot of goods, and shipping costs have been increasing year by year. This is passed down to the consumer, making basic groceries more expensive. A simple shopping trip that used to cost $50 now costs $75 or even more. This increase in living expenses leaves families struggling to make ends meet. Imagine trying to feed a family while worrying about sky-high rent and gas prices. It's no wonder that many are seeking better opportunities in places with a lower cost of living. Even more frustrating is the fact that wages in New Zealand haven't kept up with the rising costs. While many people are working hard, earning their salaries, it's simply not enough to maintain a decent standard of living. A report from the New Zealand Council of Trade Unions highlighted this growing wage gap, where the cost of living has risen far faster than income levels. This wage stagnation, combined with rising prices, creates a perfect storm of financial pressure that forces many to look for greener pastures. But what is the solution? Some argue that the New Zealand government needs to take drastic action to solve the economic crisis. From introducing more affordable housing initiatives to improving wage growth and making everyday goods more accessible, there's a lot to be done. But these solutions take time, and many Kiwis simply don't feel they can wait. For those who are struggling, the idea of packing up and starting over in a more affordable country becomes increasingly appealing. This is the painful reality that many people in New Zealand are facing today. Despite all the beauty and natural wonder the country offers, it's becoming clear that economic pressures are forcing people to leave. The decision isn't made lightly, it's a matter of survival. For young professionals, families, and retirees alike, the rising cost of living is making New Zealand seem like less of a paradise and more of a financial trap. And as long as these economic struggles persist, the trend of people leaving will only continue to grow. Says the cost of living continues to push Kiwis out of New Zealand. There's another, less obvious, but equally powerful force at play, what's often referred to as the country's brain drain. While many people might think of New Zealand as a land full of opportunity, the reality is that a growing number of talented professionals, skilled workers, and educated individuals are leaving for better prospects elsewhere. It's not just the high cost of living driving them away. It's the pursuit of career growth, financial stability, and the chance to fulfill their potential. New Zealand may be a dream destination for some, but when it comes to job opportunities and career advancement, it's not always the best place to build a long-term future. Despite the country's natural beauty and friendly culture, the job market can feel limiting. For many professionals, the opportunities they can access in New Zealand simply aren't on the same scale as what's available in larger, more economically powerful nations. And for those in specialized fields, the gap is even more pronounced. Take doctors and healthcare professionals as an example. While New Zealand is known for its excellent healthcare system, Many medical professionals are leaving for Australia, where salaries are higher and career advancement is more robust. In fact, the number of Kiwi doctors migrating to Australia has been steadily increasing over the years, with many citing the promise of higher wages and better working conditions as their primary reasons for leaving. For these professionals, it's not about abandoning their country, it's about ensuring their financial future and professional growth. In Australia, they can earn more, have access to better resources, and work in larger healthcare institutions that offer a wider range of specialities. Similarly, teachers who play a crucial role in shaping the next generation are increasingly seeking opportunities abroad. Many young teachers are heading to the UK, where there are more job openings and the potential for career advancement is greater. While New Zealand's education system is well regarded, the pay and support for teachers in the country can be relatively low compared to places like the UK. In fact, many teachers have reported feeling undervalued and overworked in New Zealand schools, with limited opportunities to grow in their careers. Faced with this reality, many are choosing to leave for better prospects in other countries. Engineers, IT professionals, and skilled tradespeople are also part of this exodus. For those working in technical fields, New Zealand's job market can be restrictive. While the country offers good salaries, the lack of large-scale industries and the relatively small size of the tech and engineering sectors make it hard for people to reach their full potential. In cities like London, Sydney, and Toronto, professionals in these fields can find more opportunities for innovation, higher wages, and the chance to work on larger, more ambitious projects. The promise of faster career progression and the chance to work with cutting-edge technologies often outweighs the charm of New Zealand's relaxed lifestyle. It's important to note that this brain drain isn't just affecting the healthcare, teaching, and tech sectors. New Zealand has been losing highly skilled professionals across a wide range of industries, from finance to law, from research to design. The problem isn't necessarily that New Zealand lacks talented people, it's that the opportunities to make the most of their talents are more limited within the country. In many cases, these professionals are looking abroad for the type of growth and challenge that New Zealand simply cannot offer. For some, the decision to leave comes down to the question of lifestyle balance. In larger countries, professionals often find it easier to balance their work and personal lives, with more options for leisure, travel, and recreation. In contrast, New Zealand's smaller size and more isolated location can feel restricting. The long hours that many people work, combined with the higher cost of living, can create a sense of burnout, making life in New Zealand feel more like a struggle than a dream. Zealand feel more like a struggle than a dream. And let's not forget about the international networks that professionals are able to build by working abroad. In today's increasingly globalized world, networking and international exposure are key factors in career advancement. Professionals who stay in New Zealand may miss out on valuable connections and experiences that could propel their careers forward. By working in a larger, more interconnected country, they're able to open doors that simply aren't available in New Zealand. For all these reasons, many highly skilled individuals have made the difficult choice to leave. The decision isn't an easy one, as it involves leaving behind family, friends, and the natural beauty of New Zealand. However, when faced with the challenges of career stagnation, lower wages, and limited growth opportunities, it's not surprising that people are seeking better prospects elsewhere. The brain drain, In New Zealand is more than just a loss of talent, it's a loss of potential. These professionals could be contributing to New Zealand's growth and prosperity, but instead, they're taking their skills, knowledge, and expertise to other countries. This not only impacts the country's economy, but also its ability to innovate, develop, and compete on a global scale. The question now is, how long will New Zealand be able to afford this outflow of talent before it starts to seriously affect its future? While the rising cost of living and the exodus of skilled professionals may be the most obvious reasons people are leaving New Zealand, there's an underlying factor that often goes unspoken, one that may surprise many: the social and emotional toll of living in New Zealand. Yes, the country is stunning, with its lush landscapes and serene environment. But for some, there's a darker side to life here that's slowly pushing people to seek a better quality of life abroad. It's not just about the cost of a home or a job opportunities sometimes. It's about feeling truly connected and fulfilled. New Zealand, for all its beauty, is a country that can feel isolated in more ways than one. While the country's small size and remote location may initially seem like a perfect escape from the chaos of the world, it often leads to feelings of loneliness and social disconnection. Kiwis live far away from most of the world's major cities, and when people want to travel or visit family, long flights and time zone differences create a sense of separation that can be emotionally exhausting. The sense of isolation, especially for young people and families, can begin to chip away at their happiness over time. Imagine being far from your extended family or lifelong friends, with no simple weekend getaways to nearby cities. That's the reality many New Zealanders face, and while social media makes it easier to stay connected, nothing replaces face-to-face interaction. And many Kiwis find themselves yearning for closer ties to the wider world. This isolation can lead to a feeling of missing out on events, celebrations, and even the everyday hustle and bustle of life in larger cities where the action never stops. For others, the pressure to live up to the Kiwi dream adds another layer of stress. The image of New Zealand as a land of easy living and adventure is attractive, but it also comes with high expectations. There's a cultural belief that living in New Zealand means a life of perfect balance, health, happiness, and outdoor adventures. But for many, achieving that ideal is far from reality. The pressures to conform to an image of constant outdoor fun and a stress-free lifestyle can be overwhelming for people who struggle with the day-to-day challenges of work, finances, and personal well-being. This disconnect between expectation and reality is significant. In larger countries, people often have more flexibility to shape their own lifestyles and explore a variety of different social circles. There's a wider diversity of cultures, backgrounds, and ways of life. In New Zealand, however, the smaller population can sometimes create a sense of monotony, where everyone seems to know each other, and people feel pressured to fit into a very specific mold. For those who don't feel they align with this mold, it can be stifling. They may feel that they're not living the kind of life they truly want to lead, and this frustration can push them to seek more diversity, freedom, and acceptance abroad. Let's not forget the challenges families face. Raising children in New Zealand can be incredibly rewarding, but it also comes with its own set of challenges. While New Zealand is often ranked high for quality of life and safety, many parents feel the pressure of a high cost of living, especially when it comes to education and childcare. In cities like Auckland, education and childcare costs are rising, and many parents find it hard to provide their children with the best opportunities. For some families, it's the desire to give their children a better future, with more access to opportunities and more affordable living conditions, that pushes them to move overseas. Even for retirees, New Zealand's quiet, peaceful lifestyle isn't always enough to outweigh the social and emotional factors that come with aging. The distance from family members and the relatively small social circles available in the country can leave many older adults feeling disconnected. The choice to move abroad for retirement often comes from the desire to be closer to family or to experience more vibrant social opportunities. Countries with larger expat communities, like Australia, the UK, or the US, offer retirees the chance to stay connected to a larger support network, reducing feelings of loneliness in their later years. But there's a deeper issue here too. Many New Zealanders feel that the country's social and political environment isn't as inclusive as it could be. Issues such as mental health support, racial tensions, and the lack of diversity in some areas can leave people feeling unrepresented. People from minority communities, or those looking for a wider variety of social experiences, may find New Zealand lacking. In bigger cities around the world, it's easier to find groups that cater to specific needs, whether that's cultural, social, or even recreational. In New Zealand, the options can feel more limited, leading some to look for places that offer a more inclusive and diverse environment. The impact of these social factors is profound. While many people initially come to New Zealand looking for a peaceful, isolated haven, they eventually realize that the quiet beauty comes at a cost. The lack of diversity, social connectivity, and a sense of being part of a larger, global community. For some, the toll of this isolation becomes too much, and they leave in search of a more connected, more fulfilling life. This is the unexpected truth behind why people are leaving New Zealand. It's not just about money, career, or the environment. It's about how people feel emotionally, socially, and culturally. As New Zealand continues to lose its residents, the question remains, will the country address these deeper social issues? Or will the sense of isolation and pressure to conform continue to push people away, seeking more connection and opportunity elsewhere? Only time will tell.